is, you know. Oh, I say!
Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Good morning, Savva here from Football Heritage TV. I feel fighting fit today, unlike yesterday, which was a bit of a crazy day. Welcome to you all. Good morning to you all. Lots has happened in the last 24 hours in the world of football. Chelsea are signing everybody whilst not actually having a terrible net situation. Big up Ranj threw me there. I wasn't expecting him to join so quickly. There's Barry. He's about to go out and coach the lads. How are you, mate? You all right?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. But if I hear any more heat towards Emerson Royale, then I'm going to literally come and find you, Savva.
I'm here for it. Listen, if you like bad players, I'm going to be here to let you know that you like bad players. Don't you worry about that, Barry. Listen, we won't start with Emerson Royale.
No.
Just quickly, let's say hello to a few people, as we always do every morning. Big up to everyone in the show. You know the rules. We shouldn't need to go through this every day. Smash the like button. Keep subscribing. We're now just over 240. We're 244 away from 10K. Let's smash that. Let's get there quickly as possible. Kesh Singh is in the house. Good morning to you, Kesh. He's been doing some research on Gift Orban. BVB David is in the house. Kate Rixham's always here. Big up to you as well. Tigaro, the single parent theory. Billy, Wilson, Neil is here as well. Jessica, George, Spurs, Syke, Craig, Phil. Too many to get to. So enjoy the show. I'm going to start talking to Barry about a few bits and pieces. Barry, it looks like the Aymeric Laporte dream, if that's what it was, for anyone that believed that might be happening, it looks like that is now dead in the water, and all the reports are suggesting that he is going to... Hang on, I've got to get these teams right because otherwise they all sound the same.
Al something.
He's going to Al Nassr. Fabrizio Romano said, understand that Al Nassr have improved their salary bid to Aymeric Laporte. No formal proposal yet, but verbal discussions advancing on personal terms. Let's be brutally honest, Barry. Have we seen a situation so far this summer where they've struggled to get a deal over the line because of the actual bid for the player in terms of the fee?
No.
So he's not going to be a Spurs player, is he?
He's not going to be a Spurs player. This is like this is even more funnier than the Bastoni and the Guardiola and the Hakimi rumours last summer, I think, with Laporte coming to us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that he's a fantastic player. I've personally maintained all along. I just don't see it as a step that he wants to make or needs to make at this stage in his career. So it looks like one we need to let go. Buono from Seville has gone there, the goalkeeper as well, that impressed everyone in for Morocco. He's gone there as well now. It's starting to fill up over there, isn't it? They're starting to take players on a daily basis.
Well, if they could just drive or land their plane in Hotspur Way and just pick up a few of our waifs and strays, then that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I think that shows you the caliber of our deadwood, doesn't it? That not even the new league want to bring these players over. By the way, thank you for everyone asking. Yes, Stewie is much better. My bank balance is not much better because the vets. I don't know what injection they give him, but apparently it's nearly £200 worth of miracle in a needle. But he is fine. He's sitting next to me, sleeping, and if he does throw up, I'll make sure it's down here and not on my windowsill. Barry, something that was sent to me. Stella actually sent this to me this morning, so I can't claim that I found this, but I did think that this was quite interesting. I'm going to bring it up. Bear with me 1 second. This is the sort of post that will get the fans really, really peed off, Barry. Now, can everyone see that? Hopefully that's big enough. Yeah. It shows the net spend of clubs this summer. Now, before we go through that, I do just want to caveat that this does include, as far as I can work out, this does include Porro and Kulu, who were technically bought in other transfer windows or budgeted for in other transfer windows. Okay, so as you can see, Arsenal at the front there with 171 million. The three startling bits of information here for me, Barry, is one, that we are give or take 400 grand, which would be a lot for me and you as mere mortals. But in football terms is like finding 20p down the side of your sofa. We are give or take the exact same number as Brentford, and that we have a worse net spend, if you want to call it that, better, whichever way you look at it, than Chelsea. When you look at this immediately, does this mean anything to you? Can we read anything into this? And is this why we moved into the game-changing stadium?
I mean, does it mean anything? I guess no. Will it rile a few people up who are fully entrenched in Levy out? Absolutely. And I get the reason. I get the reason why. I mean, it just goes to show Chelsea, who've spent, I don't know, close to £1 billion or whatever it is, nonsense that they're coming to, but their net spend is less than ours.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
Not only so I think there's two things there. There's not only do they obviously they spend money, and look, some of the money that they've spent, you can argue that is over the top. I mean, a lot of Chelsea fans have said 115 million for Cohesion is far too much, when Man United, I think, could have got him for 5 million however long ago, right?
Yeah.
But what Chelsea do, and they do well, is that they make money from their assets. Obviously Mason Mount came through the academy, didn't cost anything. By the time that Havertz or whatever was there, he was worth 25 million on their books, and obviously they sold him for 65. So look, they're good at doing that. In terms of Man City, again, look, the players that they're buying, this is the difference, right? The players that they're buying, I was always told when I was younger, you need to get a car. When you buy a car, you want a car that's going to hold its value or increase in value. And that's kind of what the Man Cities and the Chelseas are doing. They're buying the types of players that either their value is going to hold or it's going to increase. Right? Yeah. Whereas we buy players, we almost go and get that. Someone's phoned up and said, "Oh, mate, I've got this deal for you. Come and meet me in half an hour." And then you go around and everything on the outside looks good, but on the inside, like the gearbox has gone, the clutch is about to go. There's no brakes and everything else. So look, I don't see how we fix this, because it's obviously due diligence and scouting and everything else, right? So look, for me, am I surprised? No. This game changer of a stadium, it was a game changer, you're right, but it was a game changer off the pitch, not on the pitch.
Not on the pitch. Yeah, I think the key thing here, and I get why people would be annoyed, you're going to have two types of fan in this situation. You're going to have the fans that say, well, there you go, look, we've done as much as Liverpool, we've actually done more than Chelsea. There'll be people that look at it that way. We've done more than Man City, but in the grand scheme of things, we've spent £20 million more net than Burnley, who have just got promoted. No offense to Burnley, got a real pokey little stadium, which I can't imagine generates. I mean, I might be doing them a disservice here. I can't believe that stadium generates them anything, if I'm completely honest. Excuse me.
No. No, it's not just Burnley Stadium. If you look at any other stadium in the Premier League, apart from a few, okay, they have concerts at Liverpool. They have stuff at Newcastle. They have some rugby, Man U and Newcastle. They don't really have, the, if we were rolling everything off, we've got, the concerts, the boxing, the NFL, the F1, the everything else that you could try and find to get that stadium sweating its assets, right?
Yeah. Whilst also for the last decade, 15 years, other than last year, we have been a 4th to 6th place European generating football club. It's not like there hasn't been that money coming in. And I think, listen, it might be premature. There's 15, if my maths is correct, it's the 16th today. The transfer window ends on the 31st. So for me, that's 15 days of the transfer window left. We may go and do a few bits, but this all at the moment looks to me very much that by the time you get a Sanchez out the door and Ndombele out the door, this all to me looks like we're going to be nearing being net neutral, if that makes sense. I feel like that's where we're heading towards. And I think that's the difficulty, is that after a bad year, that we haven't been seen now to again go, right, okay, let's go for it. But then you pick up the news tabloids and see that most other clubs are. Like, if we take the Chelsea example, they are selling a lot of players. They are selling a lot of players as well as buying players in. But some of the deals they're doing, there's some outrageous deals. 115 million pound for Caicedo, but then 35 million for Elise. That's not an outrageous deal in today's market. No. Where are Spurs when those deals are to be had?
Yeah, and then what that does is, because obviously there's this talk over Eze, what that then does is then that pushes the price up of the other players, because they obviously don't want to lose. Obviously, they've lost Zaha. They're going to lose Elise. They can't afford to lose Eze. If they lose Eze, they're relegated or contenders for relegation, right? So that's why they're going to say, all right, you want Eze, 70, 80, 90 million pounds. It's so far down in the transfer window or so deep that we're so deep we can't afford to replace him, or we won't be able to replace him until January. It just shoves it. But you're right. There is the one there. But if Elise's only got a 35 million pound release clause, why is no one else, or why are we not going? It's only 35 million. We were talking about how good, Basuma at 25 million was. Well, hang on a minute. There's another player that's looking pretty decent for 35 million, not 115 million or whatever you. So.
Yeah, I mean, I look as well across the world. By the way, when I talk about these players, I'm not saying, Barry, we should have gone and got every one of these players, but there is smart scouting to be done. So I look at our old mate Jose over there at Roma. He's just got Renato Sanchez on loan for a year for 1 million euros, right? 1 million euros, and just bought Leandro Paredes from PSG for 4 million euros. Straight away, if I'm sensible and I'm Tottenham, for me, straight away, I'm shifting out a Højbjerg or a Skip at 25, 30 million, and I'm bringing in one of those at 1 million on loan or 4 million as a fixed transfer fee. You know my point. I'm not saying go and buy every single player that everyone else buys, but we just don't seem to have that want to refresh. Like, we don't seem to want to get the old out.
Reset and restart like Mr. Box Office wants to do.
Mate, look, on those things, he's completely right. But I mean, you look at it again, I think a lot of people, Barry, are going to start to get a little bit twitchy. I don't think there's panic mode yet, but I think a lot of people are going to start getting twitchy that what Kane left on Friday. I think it will happen Friday, Thursday, Friday were the big 2 days with the Harry Kane saga. I don't want to talk about Harry, he's gone. But now is that time where you would think that bids would be going in now for players, the same way that Man City lose Kevin De Bruyne, and the very same day they're preparing a bid for Lucas Paqueta and Jeremy Doku. That's how a big club acts. Seems like we're just happy to plod, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's how it always has been. We sit there and we go, if we go back to 2019 and we know what happened, the Champions League final, we had to push. That was the time to invest and try and take us to the next level. We didn't do it. So if we didn't do it then, I don't think we're ever going to do it, right? And that's the issue. We're always. It's like we're safe, It's like it's like when people go out for dinner, they want to have they'll normally choose. They'll go for some people will always go for the safe option. They won't go for that's a little bit left field. I'm not going to choose that. Tottenham Hotspur are the person that goes out and they always have the same meal. They go to I don't know Nando's. Let's just say because we all love Nando's.
I knew that was coming.
They go to Nando's, right? And they're like everyone there is ordering like medium or hot, or someone goes, I'm going to order extra hot today. And this person's just sitting there going, well, I always have a salad. And it's like, what? What do you mean always have a salad? And you always have it like, with nothing on. And you're like, why don't you? This is what Spurs are. We're just like that plain Jane, that person that never wants to take a risk. never wants to take it to the next stage. And, you know, like the only thing they want to take to the next stage is everything else, but they don't want to take it.
I think the key thing is I'm not saying we haven't done a few good bits this summer, because we have, but it always does feel very much like it's the bare minimum, because they know that a lot of the fan base will go, oh, well, that's okay. We did this. We got this. We got this. You can't do everything in one window. Whilst I agree you can't do everything in one window, you could push the boat out a little bit, couldn't you? A little bit. And especially with Kane going, surely a way to kind of pacify the fans, if that's the word. I don't know, placate, pacify. Yeah. I don't know if I'm quite getting the right word here. Would be to see Orban come in, Sangare coming in midfield. You know, start to see a few young, fresh faces where you go, okay, I like the energy we're bringing to this team now. But again, we're nearly a week down the line from Kane going. I haven't seen an official bid go in. I keep hearing the gift Orban's coming. It's the gift that keeps giving, that rumour. Pardon the pun. That was terrible dad joke. But but it's not materialising. And someone in the chat has made a great point. Said, the longer you leave this, people are not going to want to let go of their players in the last week of the window. Then you're scrambling around. Then you're in long lay territory. You're in not necessarily long lay, but that caliber of player where no one wants him and you take a chance.
Yeah, look, this whole, if what we were talking about, you know, with Harry Kane going, it wasn't just suddenly he turned up on the 12th of July and then he turned around and said, I'm leaving. They would have known when you enter into business and contract talks, you don't just start it off like the day before, and it, you know, I mean, we started off the day before and it lasts 20 years probably, but you know, so they would have known, so they could have made a plan, they could have gone out under the radar, and everything else. And I think this is the issue. There's never the plan. We had Porro was with an obligation to buy. Everyone could see that Conte was going to walk out of 18 months. Why we had to have that obligation in that contract, I don't know. Kulu, yes, he had a good first half season, but we were doing it like, 25 million, maybe we get it on the cheap. He's going to come good. If he comes back on the form that he started with, then 25 million, that's a good deal. And it's always just trying to find the good deals, whereas actually if they sit there and go, right, this manager's not going to be here in 18 months. The manager we want to bring in is potentially going to play a different level of football. If you look at from Poch to Nuno to Jose to Conte now to Ange, the different systems in 3-4 years. We've signed a right wing back for a manager that doesn't play a right wing back system.
Yeah.
No, we're signing ones for the future. We're looking at Longley. Where's all this talk that was back in May of ripping up contracts and everything else? We haven't done anything. We've got rid of Harry Winks and Joe Rodon on loan. And that's it. And we probably need to get rid of another.
And that's 8 million, by the way. 8 million. I know people will want to add in people will want to add in clauses, but it's 8 million. Rodon's gone on loan. £8 million is what we've recouped.
I've just sent you something because you can obviously bring it up. It's the list of all the players, the maximum 17 spaces of non-homegrown players, the homegrown players, and selected under 21 players. And it's got.
Let me send it.
It's got the total there and the total people up for sale. And just look at that squad. It's horrendous.
Hang on. You said it's my WhatsApp, so I need to convert that and send it over. 1 second. Let me see if I can bring that up, people. Yeah, I'll bring that up in the meantime.
It's just why you do that. It's just I just don't understand where we're sitting here like, and someone's not looking at it and going, guys, we've got like 600 players here. we for everything that's going on, right? You'd sit there and you think, Christ, I'd want to get rid of this. If this was my business, I'd want to get rid of it because it's costing me, you know, the training kit, the flights, the travel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're sat there and you're going,
the salaries must be huge. Like the excess salaries on players. I mean, you look straight away. The biggest example, obviously, that we always talk about is Tungai, isn't it? sitting there on 200 grand a week, not making the squad. Like, I mean, I get it. I understand how business works. And, you paid 55, 60 million, whatever the fee is for him, and you want to get as much back. But at this stage, he's been here 4 years. If you get a £10 million offer from abroad and you get that 20 million wages for the next 2 years off the books, at least then you're saving yourself that 20 million wages, plus you're getting 10 million back. And then you've got some actual money to reinvest and extra salary that you can give to new players. So listen, I know that's probably really an oversimplification, but to have only let go of Winks and Roden with 15 days of the window to go, like we haven't even seen Parrott, Scarlett, Devine, White, any of them, Austin, none of them have gone on loan. Like nothing, no one's going on loan. Nothing's happening. It feels very strange.
This is the thing, right? Until we probably see 6 to 8 of these players leaving the squad, we're not signing anyone else. This is what people need to realise. We can't just because we've got the Harry Kane money or not got the Harry Kane money or whatever the money that we've got, we need to get rid of 6 to 8 at least of these players before, like you said, because but it's always been that way. Why has it always been that way? Because we've signed poor players. We've scouted poorly. Phil P puts in the chat, Spurs have got more deadwood than Ian McShane, So it's it's true that you can make a football team. And one of the players that we're talking about that has had a good pre-season that we want to see maybe against Man United in that midfield of Lo Celso, and then there's talks that he wants to go to Betis. So what are we doing here? We're just.
I do feel that one of the things
we're doing it again.
We are doing it again. And just quickly talking about doing things again. Come on, guys and girls. We've been honestly the last week. I don't know if everyone's annoyed with me because Harry Kane has left or what, but the likes and subscribers have just died a death. We have got 508 people in here and only 138 likes and subscribers. Come on, guys. And we were talking the other day, I should have been at 10K by today. It's now Wednesday, still 9,761. So we're 239 away from the 10K mark. Come on, help a brother out. It's free. I've put the link in the chat. I have pinned it as well. Please smash that like button as a bare minimum. And if you can subscribe, that would be really cool. Let's set it's just dropped. Sorry, I must have. All right, let's set a target. Let's at least get that to 9,780. Come on. What's that? 23 subscribers in the next hour and a half. Come on, people. Let's be kind. One of the key things to add on to this as well, mate, is when you actually look at the players we've got, we do keep doing this thing where I'm seeing now people going, oh, well, maybe Sanchez isn't so bad to keep him. Maybe this player's not so bad to keep him. Maybe this, and it's like, that's where the money gets generated from. Like, deadwood is where the money gets generated from. And every player that seems to have a half-decent game in pre-season, suddenly we start talking about, well, I don't know, they could do something this year. So I sit on the fence with this. As much as I want Levy and Enoch and that to do that, fans then asking for these deadwood players to stay and get yet another season. That's the money. That's the squad space. That's the salary usage. Surely at some point the club, and I think the fact that we don't have a say, but I think we need to be mentally ruthless and the club need to be ruthless with, right, out you go. Let's get you out. I don't care if it's Lo Celso, Ndombele, Sessegnon, Højbjerg, Skip. It's got to get people out and get money in.
Yeah, and this is it. I was looking at this yesterday for the top 10 or top 11 players that we've bought and the fees, and it's just ridiculous. The only Richarlison 60 million and Ndombele 53.8, Maddison 40, Sanchez 36, Porro 34.5, Musa Sissoko 34.5, Basuma 30, 25-30. Lo Celso 27.2, Bergwijn 27.2, Lamela 27.2, and Soldado 26. There's in that list, apart from James Maddison and Basuma, the rest of them are horrible. The rest of them are absolutely horrible in that list.
I agree. But the problem is, mate, as I said, the Problem is, what we will do is we will wait for one of those types of players in that list to have a decent game. And then what we do is we start talking about them. Oh, hang on. Under this manager, they could come good. And it's like, oh, my God. You look down the road, you look at other clubs. They don't do that. You look at, like, I'm not saying Arsenal have won anything, but they are on the right trajectory. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
And Arteta in that time has got rid of, Arteta and Edu have got rid of everyone. You look at all those deadwood players, the Aubameyangs, the Ozils, the Kolasinacs, the Mustafis. I'm sure there's a whole long list of them. They just get rid of them. They get rid of them and bring in young, hungry players. We seem to still have a squad made up of a lot of the old deadwood. I went on a show on Monday. I'm not going to say what show. I went on a show on Monday. One of the people on the chat with me said, you know what? The more I look at Sanchez this pre-season, I'm comfortable with him being one of our 4 main centre-backs. And I just think to myself, what are we... And thank you to the 5 people who just unsubscribed. Wow. Thank you very much to those 5 people. Makes it all worthwhile. But on a serious note, Barry, come on, guys and girls, smash the subscribe button. This is free every morning for you.
Phil P wants a Nando's.
Phil P wants his Nando's that I promised him at 10K. But do you see what I mean? We've got fans saying things like that. Sanchez, I wouldn't mind him being part of our squad now. And it's like, what? Because he made a few tackles against Barcelona in a pre-season friendly. Forget that we conceded 4 at the back.
That's the thing, Savva. Sanchez always has those types of gaming in them, but he was worse than. I mean, if you go back to Lucas Moura used to have 1 good game in 6. Sanchez has 1 good game in 12, maybe, or 20. This is why. This is why we need to stop holding on to, sentimentality. That's, sentimentality FC. That's what we are. The whole thing with, like, whatever this nonsense is around Eric Dyer, who gives a crap? He got upset because he thought he was going to be captain or vice captain or part of the leadership team. He did or he didn't unfollow Spurs. He had them there. He didn't have them there. Who cares? Just get rid of him. He's not good enough. And let's move on. That's what we need to do. That's the pace that we need to try and do it. If like you said, with the wages, if we get him off the books and we don't get a fee, okay, we don't get a fee. But surely there must be a point where we're 4 years down the line, nearly 5 years down the line with stadium naming rights. If we're going to get a deal with that, then surely you kind of underwrite the loss of a transfer fee. I don't know. If it was me, I'd be getting that list that I sent you. And I'd be going, go. What do we need to do? Right, you've got 1 year left. You're due 5 million. Here's 3 million. Disappear.
Yeah, see you later. Yeah, see you later. Even if there was one window where we didn't spend as much but got rid of lots of deadwood, and you could go, okay, I understand what they've done here. I understand where that budget has gone. But we're not doing either. Look, I think Maddison is a fantastic signing. I don't think it was a difficult signing to do, but a fantastic signing. I think Van der Ven, again, not a difficult deal to really do. We shouldn't be difficult to get 22-year-olds out of Wolfsburg. Solomon on a free is not difficult. Vicario's not difficult. Valise, 15 million euros or dollars, whatever it is, from Argentina isn't difficult. Ashley Phillips, a few million from Blackburn isn't difficult. I just don't feel like we're going out and really making any difficult moves in the market. That's the true worry for Spurs fans.
That's what we need to do. If someone came out from the club, because obviously I don't know where Scott Munn is. Right? But if he came out, let's just say it was him, right? And he's probably going to start the 1st of September or whatever's going on in the background. He comes out on the 1st of September and says, we know it's been difficult. We know everything's been done. We've made some easy deals, and there's been some deals that we've tried to make, like they usually say, we've tried to make, but it was just, everything else, right? But if they then said in January, our priority in January is to get rid of 12 players from this squad, and they spend the whole of between now and January finding clubs, getting rid of those players, and then they go, right, next summer we're going to address the positions that Andrew's, that we see that there's gaps in the squad, and then we go out and do it. That's having a plan. That's more of a plan than what we've had at the moment. Like you said, free transfer, great. £2 million, great. £15 million, great. Whatever it was for Vicario, great. The Maddison one, okay, that was good. And then we got Winks the other way. So in theory, 32, good. But we're not, like you say, we're not trying to sit there and go, do you know what? This whole Elise thing. We're not going, do you know what? Chelsea have offered 35 million. They've met his release clause. Do you know what? We're going to be bold here. We're going to put 40 down and see if that tests the waters. Because Palace, I'm sure Palace won't care where he goes. There'll be more, and for Elise's then thinking, well, I can go to Football Manager FC and go and sit on the bench, or I might have actually a chance than being at Spurs. But I don't know. There's just no plan. It's like we suddenly wake up and it's like, oh, it's January the 1st, the transfer window's open, and then we get to June, oh, the transfer window's open. We're not thinking, this whole where they obviously put it into the 2 windows rather than being throughout the whole season. It's some clubs just seem to like, oh well, we can start doing business now. But what are you doing the rest of the year? What are you thinking about? What are you? It's crazy.
Let me come to this comment. By the way, thank you to the couple of people that pulled it back for me. Guys and girls, I'll ask nicely. Come on, every day I'm doing 3 live shows for everyone, 2 videos a day. I'm working my backside off. Please smash the subscribe button, people. It might be a gain to you guys and girls when you unfollow, follow and all that. But for me, this is now my business. So this is quite important to me. So if you could subscribe, it would mean a lot. And please smash that like button. As I said, whenever I go onto shows with other people, they get 300-400 likes within about 5 minutes. Spurs fans seem to be very reluctant to smash the like button on many of the Spurs content creator channels. So please do. It really, really does help. And it really does. It really does help Phil P get his Nando's quicker as well. This is an interesting one, Nick. This is quite an interesting one. So International Observer. By the way, I'll try to get to as many comments as possible. I've seen the super chats. I will get to them after Nick's answered this question. International Observer says, morning, Sav. Is it me? But don't other major teams buy their targets, which then forces the unwanted players to make a decision? Seems that players know that Spurs are tight, so they are not forced. There's a lot to be said for this, Nick. When you look at a lot of what other clubs do, they do go and get their players. That makes players like the Sanchez's and the Dyers turn and the Tangangas go, hang on, we've just signed 3 centre-halves. We're not wanted. We'll desperately push for a move now. Spurs, we seem to let the owners off all the time and say, yeah, but we can't until we've sold people. Don't we have to... I know it's not really Levy, but don't we have to go big to then come down a bit, if that makes sense, in terms of the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the perfect example is, I don't want to keep going back to him, but if we'd signed Maddison early, if we'd made a big statement as goalkeeper, a big statement at centre back, then maybe Harry Kane would have changed his mind, right? Because he could have seen we were trying to do something, but.
I think that's a clutch, but I think he wanted to go. It's like right at the end, because obviously it's happened loads of times. But if we'd done that, maybe, but we don't. So it's like you said, we don't go out and we don't take that risk. Why have we got sat there? However many 15, 20 players that are never going to play in this first team squad. And we're saying, oh, we have to sell. Well, if you're already paying their money, you might as well. What's the difference in paying it for another couple of weeks, or to try and get them out of the club, so that we actually show the fans, we show the club, we show everyone that, oh, I understand why the ticket price have increased, or there's a bit of empathy for it. I'm not saying people agree, but they might go, oh, do you know what? Actually, yeah, I can understand why things are this. I can understand why things are that. But actually, we're just getting the bloody hard, the hard, cold shoulder all the time, because the club aren't matching what people want to do. And look, I don't think anyone thinks we're going to go out and spend 500 million in a window, right? No. I think that the level-headed fans that will sit there and go, do you know what? Just go and spend 200, 300 million. Then sit there and tell me you're ripping up 3 contracts. Then say that 3 or 4 players are going out on the door and this is the plan. But it's the communication, it's the lack of communication that we're all sat there going, oh,
we're signing this player because he's cheap. We're signing this player because that's what we've always done. The usual story. We've got to sell before we can buy. So,
well, look, the thing is, Nick, let's look at it from another point of view. So, Aidan, I'll come back to what Aidan said. This guy keeps saying to me, not that we need to sell first. He keeps saying it to me. He said it here as well. Exactly, we need to sell first. I'm going to respectfully disagree. I'm going to disagree with this as well. So, how can we make any signings of our squad numbers as bloated as they are? My simple question to you is this: how do the other clubs do it then? Why do the other clubs do it? Chelsea seem to buy. They'll worry about selling afterwards. They'll sell at the same time. It doesn't have to be you bring one in, then one goes out. We seem to be the only club that seem to make excuses for this behaviour. Also, this for me, this sums it up. Players will shut down moves because they're comfortable, because they know there's no competition, right? And why are we able then, if for all these people that are saying we can't buy, we have to sell first? I'm not saying these are bad signings, but then why buy Valise, who's an extra squad member? Why buy Phillips, who's an extra squad member? If that's the case, why wouldn't those two signings be players ready for the first team now? If it has to be one in, one out, I just think at some point we have to start acting like a big club, and at the moment, I don't think we are. I really don't think we are. I think if you look at our best signings, as you said earlier, most of them is when they're on a deal. Basuma and Maddison, for example, excellent players, waited till both of them were down for a year on their contracts, right? We would never go and get a Basuma or a Maddison when they had 2-3 years left on their contract, and you actually had to fight to get them out their club. That's the worry for me.
Yeah, and you're right, and that's the thing. And also, because these players are on their contracts, like you say, why would Ndombele leave to go and play in Turkey for? I mean, he is a Turkey, so he'd fit in quite well there. But why would you just? Why would he sit there and go, I'm getting paid 200 grand a week? Everyone's moaning about my attitude. I don't give a shit. I'm going to get paid 200 grand a week until my contract runs out.
Right. The thing is as well, I mean, let's use Davinson Sanchez as the example, because I have been so far. Davinson Sanchez knows straight away that he's walking into that team with one injury. He knows. Now imagine that we'd bought another centre-half, right? I'm not saying it can't happen, but now imagine we'd signed another centre-half as well as Phillips and as well as Van der Ven. All of a sudden, Sanchez isn't getting on that pitch. Then he realises, even when one of the first-choice centre-backs get injured, I'm not getting on that pitch because we're only playing 2, we're not playing 3, and I'm now not one of the first-choice 4. But at the moment, he's seen immediately. Romero gets a concussion, Sanchez is in, and people will start saying nice things about him. I think we've got to force these players out.
Look at what happened, and look, you know my love for Emerson Royale.
Why?
But look at what happened when the links were to Porro, how he changed what he was doing. How that all of a sudden he thought, actually, I need to turn up now. All he had as competition was Jed Spence and Matt Doherty at the time. He was sat there going, I'm a shoo-in for this team. I'm not going to do it. So look, that's what needs to happen. You're right, because if you get someone all of a sudden that's going to put some pressure on, like really good pressure on, it's going to either get them, 1, to improve what they're doing, or 2, to realise that they need to go and find football elsewhere. Right? That's the point. And they don't do that. They just sit there and go, well, like you say, Sanchez. Well, someone gets injured. If like Sanchez is sitting there now going, if Romero's not fit on Saturday, I'm playing. Yeah. He's not sitting there going, if Romero gets injured, there's X, Y, and Z ahead of me. Actually, I'm not playing football. I need to go and further my career. Or they're even thinking, if it's like a Euros year or a World Cup year, they're not sitting there and going everything else. Maddison, 100%, right, sat there, thought the Euros are coming up. I want to stay in London. I've got Arsenal, I've got Spurs. And a lot of Spurs fans are going to sit there and go, this is nonsense. He would have got less game time at Arsenal, and he's a shoo-in to start at Spurs. So which club do you choose? I don't buy for a second that he's choosing us over Arsenal because it's a nice thing to do, right? I just think it's all about what the players have the control. The players have, oh, you don't want to pay me 50 grand a week? Okay, he's going to pay me 100 grand a week. I'll just go there. It's fine, not a problem. And this is where we need to realise is that Maddison is sat there, and look, I don't hold any grudges against him coming to Spurs because he immediately improved us, and we saw what he did against Brentford, right? That's the point. He's gonna play week in, week out. He's gonna put himself on that pedestal so that there's absolutely no reason why he doesn't go to Germany in the summer to play in the Euros, right? Because he wasn't gonna. If he stayed at Leicester and got him promoted and did that and that was, he might have thought that's the right thing to do. With all due respect, he isn't getting in that Euro squad playing in the Championship, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Phil Pierce said, what comes first? Spurs sell Dyer and Ndombele, loan out Parrott and Co, or Savva gets 10k? I think it's going to be the first one. Honestly, I don't know what's happened. I don't know if I've done something wrong in the last couple of days. I'm getting all sorts of digs at me in the chat about only do Spurs content just because every now and then I bring on a fan from another channel to talk about their club, to find out what's going on in their world as well. And I can't buy a subscriber today for love nor money. I don't mean literally buy, but like I cannot move from the 9756. I mean, I can't move from this number at all. All I need is 20 people who haven't subscribed out of 500 to go over there so we can hit today's target. Be nice, people. On the super chat front, Strasbourg Steve, big up Steve, always a massive supporter of the channel, has said, hey Sav, Newcastle confirmed to be pot 4 for the Champions League draw after yesterday's qualifying results. Give me the group of death. Listen, sometimes those groups of death actually work in your favour. Sometimes they don't. Steve, big up, man. Listen, I think Newcastle will be fine depending on who you get. You're a very, very tough team to beat. And a lot of those Champions League teams won't fancy a night out at St. James's Park. So, listen, good luck to Newcastle in that competition. Jake B said a bit hard to refresh the team without a football department and a director as its chief. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. A lot to be said for that, Nick. We will come to it. Yeah, something just doesn't seem to be adding up. Something doesn't seem to be adding up at all. Strasbourg Steve, I've just lost 12 subscribers, Barry, for asking for 20 more.
Oh my God.
I don't know what is happening to my channel.
Sabra, I've got about another 10 minutes because I promised my girls that I'd sit there and watch the semi-finals of the. Yeah,
no worries, mate. No worries. Don't worry. This is the stream's dead anyway. I've lost 23 subscribers throughout this one stream. And I don't know why.
One thing I wanted to touch on is I saw it this morning.
Hang on, can I finish my super chats though? I've got to finish my super chats, mate. Otherwise, I won't get to them.
Otherwise, you'll lose some more subs.
Mate, I don't know what is going on. I give people 3 to 4 streams a day. They keep asking for more Spurs content, and then they just unsubscribe. Strasbourg Steve said, big up Barry and Sav. Big up to you, Steve. Much appreciated. Always a huge support of the channel. Tigaro has said, Asta ranks to PSV. Is Sangare on the move? I'd like to think so, but I'm hearing rumours that PSG are looking at Sangare as well. And this is the problem. When you wait this long for players, other clubs come in and swoop for them. Hopefully, though, Tigaro, hopefully that is the sort of signing that Spurs make. And then the last super chat we've got for the moment is Tigaro again saying, from a business perspective, paying 10 average players each week instead of buying 3 outstanding players who'll fit the system. It makes no sense. He's spot on, right? He's spot on. Yeah. This is what we do. We overload rather than get what we need. But sorry, mate, you were saying, what were you saying? And thank you, Tom.
No, just because obviously getting to the weekend and everything else, there's 2 protests going on and everything else. And I've seen a lot of noise from the Supporters Trust and everything else, right? Just one thing that caught my eye this morning, and this is the Supporters Trust, for my opinion, trying to stay relevant, right? There was a message from fans, and that if you go to their Facebook page or you go to their Twitter account, there's obviously loads of messages. They're ramping up to Saturday's protest around the ticket prices. But if you're going to do something, right, can you please do something that has sense to it, and 2, makes sense, and doesn't make you look stupid, right? This thing that I've got, right, It's a thing, a dad and his daughter, right? And it says, "We are fans, not customers. They didn't need to do this. I've been going to Tottenham games for over 20 years. I now have a young family and cannot justify going without taking at least my eldest and or my dad, who I've always gone with." So, okay, that doesn't actually make much sense if you put that into the thing, right? I now try to buy his tickets to help him out. Okay, so the guy buys his ticket and he buys his dad's ticket to help him out. Fine. The hike in ticket prices has made it simply unaffordable for me to go this season, wasting £50 on renewing my membership. I get all of that, but that whole paragraph, none of it makes sense, in my view. Just reading that, right? And I don't understand what they're trying to do. I really don't understand. They're trying to make a point. They're now going on to, obviously, they're getting quotes from fans and everything else, which I get, right? But some of the stuff they're putting out is absolute nonsense, right? And it's creating more division than
just the trust,
getting people together. You know,
the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I did a video. I did a video on them last week. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing lately. All of a sudden, it feels like they're spamming loads and loads of issues. I'll ask this question: where have they been for the last 15, 20 years when all of this stuff has been going on?
Yeah.
Listen again. I don't know when they were formed. I don't know what's happened. For me, I'll be honest. I don't think they make a blind bit of difference. I really don't think they made a. In any issue, they write a letter to the board. What's the response they get back from Tottenham?
Basically, whatever. Bye-bye.
It might as well be an envelope back with two fingers stuck up at them, because I get it. It's great. People think that they've got a voice. There's no voice there. There's no voice. This is what I keep saying. Stadium's packed. It's going to be... I'm not in denial about this, by the way. The stadium's packed every week. It's going to be packed. The club shop is packed. These people can keep saying these things, but as a club, we've let it get to this situation. You can't let something get to this situation, then try and bring it down.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. Look, let's just quickly before you go, let's try and find some positives. Man United at the weekend. I think that we could grab the win here. I feel like they look like a really unprepared team going into the season. Now, we've seen clubs do this before. Then they play Spurs and suddenly look like prime Barcelona. But United, it didn't look right. It didn't look cohesive.
I obviously look. I think a lot of people have said, and even me, I've said it as well. I thought Wolves would be favourites to get relegated based on what going to Old Trafford and having 23 shots, which was the most since I think it was 2008, 2009, or something ridiculous. That United had that many shots at Old Trafford. Look, I think, I mean, look, if I was Eric Ten Hag now, I would have rewatched that video. I'd have seen the mistakes where, Casemiro was isolated in that midfield, and all he needs to do is first of all he needs to do is say, guys, it's only Tottenham, right? That's the first thing he needs to say. And second of all, he just needs to, the way that we're playing with Emerson Royale tucking in narrowly, all they've got to do is ping that ball over the top. I don't think Rashford will play down the middle. I think Rashford will play on that left-hand side, and Rashford will absolutely, cook down that side, and they come out and they absolutely annihilate us on Saturday. I can't see how, if the Man United that turned up against Wolves turns up against us, 100%. I think we've got a chance, right? But I've just got that sneaking suspicion that they're going to sit there and go, guys, that wasn't good enough. We need to be better. We've got a great opportunity to go and spank 4 or 5 past this Spurs defence that is still learning, that has a young keeper that's inexperienced and everything else, right? So look, I think if they turn up like they did and they think that they can, with what they had in midfield, then it's going to be it'll be a good game. I still think there'll be goals because, like I've said, there's going to be goals throughout this, up until at least January while we're figuring stuff out. But
yeah, I agree.
I can't see United coming and turning up like they did against Wolves. I think they turned up and they thought they've lost their manager. Gary O'Neill's there. everyone's talking about them being relegated. This is 3 points in the bag. So, and I can't see them turning up to Spurs because they would have gone, oh, actually, Spurs played all right. Everyone thought they were going to get beaten by Brentford. They played all right.
Yeah.
So actually, we should be on our game. So, yeah, I just don't. As long as it's not a mauling, I just think that they're not going to turn up in the same way because Man United were poor from start to finish. And look, it was a Stonewall penalty all day long. I don't care what anyone says. Onana came out and just absolutely took the people, took 2 players out. So they got lucky. But look, VAR is not going to award penalties at Old Trafford. It never has done, and it never will. So.
Yeah, absolutely shocking decision. It really, really was. But hey, that's the world that we're living in at the moment. Let's just go through some of the comments just to see. SOF has said, sorry, but I don't see the club lowering the ticket prices when the games are selling out. I mean, SOF, I've said that the whole time. I don't understand how people think that now the ticket prices are going to change when they sell out. Look, for me, forget Tottenham Hotspur, right? Forget Tottenham Hotspur and any of this. This is just common sense business, right? If I have a product and it's selling out, what would ever be the justification for putting the prices lower? Surely, if anything, they'll put the prices higher because they know they're going to keep selling out. I don't agree with it, but for me, it's all come a little bit too late. Proud to be a Geordie has said, anyone who trusts the supporters trust needs to give their head a wobble. Listen, by the way, I've got nothing against these guys and girls, Barry. I've got nothing against them at all. I just don't know what purpose they serve. And then Jimmy's come in and said, people now actually criticising the trust for standing up for what's right in terms of ticket rises. So what if they weren't there 20 years ago? We can't turn back time. It's about now and trying to fix it. So obviously there's more than one way of looking at it, Barry. But the problem is when it gets to this position and the stadium is being sold out, why on earth would Tottenham reverse their decision? If I take my hat off that I hate ENIC, why would they, if there was an ounce of chance, why would they?
Well, they wouldn't. The only time that they've reverted doing anything was obviously when they went to put everyone on furlough. That was the only time they've done it because they realised that everyone else wasn't. Do you know what I mean? They weren't. That was a situation where it was bigger than just Tottenham Hotspur, right? But when they're selling out the ground, I mean, I'm just looking now. Man United, you've probably got a couple of 100 tickets left for the weekend. Sheffield United, not less than 1,000 tickets available. Obviously, Liverpool's going to be the same as Man United. I think that this club is sitting there and going, should have put them up higher. We should have put these tickets prices higher. We've missed out.
I agree. If I'm sitting on that board right now, I'm saying, God, do you think we could have squeezed an extra £5 per ticket, an extra £10 per ticket? And this is the problem. It keeps being sold out. You see it every day in shops. I know you need to jump in a second, but you see it every day across shops. All the shops that constantly sell things at a high price, right? Very rarely do you see them ever put a sign in their window for 40% off, 50% off, this sale, that sale. All the shops that struggle, you will see must go, clearance sale, 50% off, 2 for. And unfortunately, Tottenham Hotspur will sell out every single game and the club shop will make revenue hand over fist. So I just don't look, fair play to them doing what they think is right for the trust. I just think it's all a little bit too late for me.
Yeah, 100%.
I know you need to go. I know you need to
go.
Yeah,
I need to go. I'm going to, I promised my 3 girls I'd sit down and watch the Lionesses. So yeah, they if I don't do that, then I'll lose some dad points. So
go. Listen, go for it, man. Go for it. Absolutely enjoy it.
Yeah, big up Savva. Big up all those people in the comments. Stop playing silly games. Let's get Savva to 10k because then he'll shut up about it, right?
Listen, it's every YouTuber's first goal, proper goal, right?
No, so, I know. No,
anyway, I'm not going to say anything more on it.
No. So look, big up. Perchy's here. He's come here to replace me.
I'll rotate your out and I'll take over yours.
Right. Big up everyone. Big up in the chat. Big up Perchy.
See you later, Nick.
Speak to you soon. See you later, boys.
Right. Big up, Perchy, I'll bring you in 2 seconds. Just quickly, let me go through a few comments and a super chat as well. Tigaro has said the Matildas, Aussie, oi. Yeah, I'm guessing that England are about to kick off against
Yeah, it's just about to kick off now.
What channel is it on for anyone in the UK? Found it.
BBC One? It's on BBC One.
Found it. Yes, I've got that on in the background. Good luck to the Lionesses in today's game. And big up to Tigaro, who's a massive supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. It's interesting, isn't it, Perchy? Everything that happens at Spurs, our fan base, we are always also split. And I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong, but we're always so split. Even when it comes to, a supporter's trust. Some people love what they do. Other people are like, well, they don't speak for me. There's just no cohesion really within the club, is there, when it comes to the fan base?
No, I agree. I think we're at a stage now where you're right. There's no cohesion. Some fans go, it's right. Some people say it's wrong. I think the key one for me was in all this, mate, was I think this had. I know that there's 2 protests going on. For me, that in itself is. I'm not saying the problem, because big up to the guys that protest, but for me, I think what would have been good is a united protest, in a sense that everyone goes for the ticket pricing. I get it. There's people that want to do Levy out, ENIC out and stuff. But I just think on this one occasion, it would have been very good if you've got everyone collected together in doing one thing. Because I think, I always say is numbers do it. If you're going to do it properly in the sense of have everyone there. Whether we like the trust or not. Some people do, some people don't. Some people are indifferent to them. For me, they speak for a wider audience. Whether we like it or not, in some cases, some people think, oh, they don't really talk for me, blah, blah, blah. But they are a figurehead of the fans. So for me, I think the best way to have done it is gone, do you know what? If you want change, use them as your platform, because they speak for a wider audience. Like, do you sort of get my point in it? Like,
no, I agree.
I just think when you've got 2 different protests, listen, good luck to the guys that are doing it. But I've always said this, fair play to everyone that protests, respectfully. I respect it. But I just think it would have been good if you've had everyone gone, do you know what? Differences aside now, we are all standing on this one point. ENIC leave out people that don't necessarily want change, but they want change in the ticket pricing. Everyone together, because from what I believe, it's going to be outside the ticket office, right? If I'm right in saying, I don't know.
I haven't seen. To be honest, I've kind of removed myself from all of it. Listen, as I said, fair play to them on all of that kind of stuff. Look, let's talk football, shall we? Let's get away from ticket prices and stuff like that. It's not changing. It is what it is. Look, Man United, as we said, they weren't great, but they've still got some top players throughout their team. I think this is going to be a real game of cat and mouse. I can see, this is only my opinion, I can see us having a lot of the football.
Yep.
And I can also see us being sprung on quite a lot in the transition with the likes of Anthony and Rashford. And if Højlund is fit enough to play, maybe a Sancho as well. What's your hopes for Man United, and how do we stop that ball over the top to Rashford and Anthony and Højlund, etc.?
No, I think that's going to be key. But I think I'm gonna move to a slight positive for just 1 second. I like a bit of
go for it.
Positive. Perch is back for a little bit. But
by the way, I'm not saying we'll lose, Perchy. By the way,
no. I know you're not.
I'm not saying we'll lose. I just think it's going to be a real interesting game of cat or mouse.
I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game of football, actually. For, as I always say, for the neutrals, like I said the other day. But what I think the likes of Son, let's just say Son, Kulu, and Richarlison are your 3 again. It sounds really weird, but I think they're going to have more. They're going to enjoy it and get more chances than they did against Brentford, because
I agree.
I think they're not going to have to try and break down a back 5 that just sits deep and stuff and basically goes, do you know what? Come at us and try and find an answer. They're not going to do that. Man United are going to be much more like us in the sense that they'll be much higher up the pitch, trying to press like we will on them. But I worry. I think from what I've read is that Romero will be able to play if he's fit, because we didn't do it's classic Tottenham, by the way. We didn't do a substitution correctly. Only Spurs seem to manage to get a concussion sub wrong. I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? We didn't fill out the correct paperwork. But in the contrary, that means that because it wasn't considered a concussion sub, he's not obliged to take 10 days out. So the concussion sub means that if you have to accept it, the doctor says that you do have a concussion sub, it means you are unavailable for 10 days, whether you're fit or not.
But he wasn't, so he's available, right?
But from what I believe, if the doctor gives him the all clear, then he's able to, because it was considered a normal sub. From what I believe, I could be completely wrong, so don't take my word by.
We'll see.
From what I believe is that, yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
Which I'm hopeful, because I want Romero and Van de Ven to play more together. They need to. We need more game time with them too.
Yeah, no, absolutely, we do. I mean, I think that was one of the disappointing things, was that we got to see them for 12 minutes, maybe 11 minutes together, and then it was straight back into Davinson Sanchez. Let's be brutally honest. We've got to shore up that right-hand side. If Royal plays, then Romero has to play there. If Royal and Sanchez play there, and I'm Marcus Rashford or Bruno Fernandes, that is exactly where I'm countering every single time.
I agree.
Down that wing. By the way, Australia 0, England 0. The game is underway. I have got it on in the background for anyone that wants an update.
I wanted to go back to another point you and Barry were talking about Chelsea. So we were talking about Chelsea getting rid of players. In the last minutes, they've now got rid of another player. In Hakim Ziyech has now gone to Galatasaray. Yeah. That's just literally come out from Romano that they have the medical test booked for either today or tomorrow, which it's quite incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is if we're going to go back to that conversation then, is they're actively trying to move them on as well.
Agreed.
So when we say, but they're better their deadwood is better than, their deadwood is better than our deadwood. Yep. But you get the feeling they're actively pushing them on. They get Hudson-Odoi going to Fulham. Are you telling me none of our players we could get a Fulham, a Brentford, a Luton? None of our players anyone wants. It just doesn't seem right.
It doesn't, but the thing is, I think what we're at the moment, what I think Chelsea are doing, and obviously it's not necessarily reported, but I'm just taking a stab in the dark. I think Chelsea have gone, do you know what? I'm just going to take a stab at, we're going to take a hit when it comes to wages. Yes, we're going to offload these players, but we'll take a hit on the wages. Fine. We'll pay off a third of his contract and then we'll get rid. They actively basically do you know what? We'll just whatever we can get rid of. If we sell him for 10 million quid, but we chuck in 2 or 3 million to cover part of the wages, boom, you're done. There you go. Next one, you're done. The problem at Tottenham, and I said this 2 months ago, we don't recycle. And what Chelsea have done is they're recycling like an industrial.
Yeah, it's a good word.
We don't. What we've got is we've got the likes of Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez, Ndombele, Lo Celso, whether we want to keep him or not. He's been here too long. We've got way too many players at this football club that have been here for 5+ years. Look around the Premier League and look at the top 4 teams. How many of them have got players that have been there for 5+ years? Not many of them. You might have the ones that are very good. You take Man City slightly away from it, but even then what they're doing is they're transitioning. They brought in Haaland. They've now getting rid of Mahrez. They're now getting rid of Laporte. Gundogan's gone. And everyone says to me, City aren't going to be like they are because they've just got rid of players. Yeah, they will. What did they do straight away when they lost Gundogan? Kovacic, you're in. Do you know what I mean? They're going to bring in Jeremy Doku to replace Mahrez. They're going. Do you know what I mean? They're in a situation. What Man City do? Man City and Chelsea are brilliant at it. Whatever we say about the football clubs, they do it the best. They do it the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, one of the key things I think, if we're going to have joy against Man U, which I think we will have joy against Man U, I think it's going to come from our best 2 players, Basuma and Maddison.
Agreed.
I'll argue this with anyone. They are our best 2 players by a country mile. I think that Maddison, I'm so happy we've got Maddison. I'm so happy we've got him. I think he adds so much different, a different dynamic, a different way of playing to what we've had in the last 4 or 5 years. And I think James Maddison, whenever he gets the ball, he's very good at, he plays in that number 10, but he's very good at floating to the right of the box, to the left of the box, always looking to whip the ball in, always looking to shuffle to get a shot away. I think Maddison has been really good so far. I think he's going to be an
Agreed.
excellent player this season.
I think the key word is he's unpredictable.
Yes.
You're not. I think that's the key word. And do you know what? He's probably the only player at the moment. You could argue maybe Basuma's a little bit unpredictable, which is good. But I think on an attacking standpoint, we've got no standout players that you go, I don't know what you're going to do. And the thing is if I'm in there going, I know what you're going to do. You know full damn well the defenders at every Premier League club know what Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski are going to do. Maddison offers that little bit different.
Yeah. Excellent player. I mean, and also when you go just behind him as well, I mean, Yves Bissouma, we are seeing exactly why everyone got excited.
Agreed.
From the player we thought we were getting from Brighton. And again, this goes to show what a difference a manager makes. And what a difference a manager makes in terms of putting your arm around someone, giving them a lease of life, telling them you're my guy. Like imagine in any walk of life, it doesn't matter if it's football, any job, you walk in, you're feeling down, no one appreciates you. Your manager puts his arm around you and says, you know what? I'm building this all around you. Yeah. You are my main guy. You're my driving force. And the difference is made. Bissouma just looks phenomenal in there. All of his game looks great.
But it's funny, isn't it? And this is what's great. And what's great about YouTube is it's a blessing and it can be a negative in the same thing because your opinions get saved on the World Wide Web, which is great. But this is a great one because everyone that told me and you 12 months ago, 6 months ago, saying, nah, Bissouma's not all that, blah, blah, blah. He's rubbish. He's crap. He's this, he's that. Went, no. The manager is not playing the best way for him. And everyone went, nah, you just hate Conte. You just don't like him. That's the reason why you're saying it. It's kind of gone full circle and it's proved what we were saying right. You've got to play Bissouma to his strengths, not to his weaknesses. His strengths are traveling with the ball, energy, not sitting in a back five, in a 2 in a 5 and just going break the press. It's just not his game, is it?
Mm. And by the way, what a great save from is it Earps, the English goalkeeper?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, what a fantastic save that the Australian striker had. Like it felt like the whole of the pitch to run into. That's where you want a Harry Kane in it. And Australia attacking again. They're enjoying some good forages forward, but it's still 10 minutes gone. Australia 0, England 0 in the World Cup semi-final. And the winners of this game, I know, play Spain.
They play Spain, yeah.
I'll tell you what, Spain, across all age groups, seem to just be so good at bringing through footballers and creating really good national teams, don't they?
Oh, all age groups, all genders as well. Do you know what I mean? It does. They just have a way about it here in Spain. It is quite. They just get it, don't they?
Yeah. I think this is one thing. Proud to be a Geordie. Big up. Always got that creepy picture, but I do like this person. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for those that are stuck with us. Really appreciated. Thank you to the 328 people that have liked. That is really, really appreciated. And big up to Darius, as always, a big supporter of the channel and has just become a channel member. So thank you very much. Every other week we do a channel member only show. Channel member only conversations. Problem is with the channel member only conversations in YouTube, I can only do so much. If I put the post out, some of you then need to respond so we can get a conversation going, right? So I will always let you know in the chat if it is channel member only, so you know that you are the only one seeing that post.
Yeah.
Big up. Please keep subscribing. We're still on 9,757. Let's get that up to at least 9,770 by the end of the show. And we'll go for about another half an hour. And then please go over to Perchy, and he is going live at midday. Big up to you. Look at a few comments, Perchy. Lily White Insider, big up to you, has said if it weren't for Maddison, we would struggle to score with how that front three are playing. Custy has said we also held on to Jan, Toby, Eriksson, Ali too long. We didn't get much money for them. I think the worrying thing about that, and I don't want to stay too long on that negative, because I do want to talk more about the positives, is we haven't learned, have we?
Agreed.
Like every player we seem to want to hold on to. When I say we, I'm not talking about the fans, the club seem to want to hold on to for a very, very long time. Davis, Dyer, Lloris is still there. I mean, Lucas Moura, how he survived 6 or 7 seasons at Tottenham. Lamela, Sissoko, Aurier.
But
it's madness, isn't it?
But Savva, the problem what we've got there, is it Juicy Vibes? Yes, that was my mother. She is just going out. She's going to the beach in a minute. She's come visit. She's just popping out, but she's taken my keys now and locked me into my own flat. Lovely jubbly. So no, but the key part with that is I think as a fan base, we've been so indoctrinated about retaining players. Look at other football clubs. No other football club has the sentimentality that we have. You look at other clubs, they lose. Look at Man City. Yes, it's slightly different situation with Aguero. Went on a free. That man deserved a statue. Did Man City fans sit there going, "Oh my God, what are you doing? We can't lose Aguero." No, they went, "Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to go and sign the best young 22-year-old Norwegian striker, and he's going to go and tear up the Premier League." We're the only football club that sits there but we allow our owners to do it because we're so sentimental. You even look at the Harry Kane situation. Well, I hate going into it because he's moved on now. But my point being is, even now with Harry Kane, even with the way that it was, no other football club would have gone, no, we have to sell Harry Kane now because we're going to go and buy this, that, and the other. We don't do it. Like Eric Dyer's been here too long. Lloris has been here probably 2 seasons too long. But we can't get any money for these players now because they're not good enough.
You hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. It's about recycling.
Yeah.
And, I think I get it, right? Like when you've got top players, you don't want to lose them. But I think what the top clubs are used to is losing them. The top club are used to going, okay, this like Pep Guardiola is very, very good at knowing when a player's done. Right? Yeah. You look, Mahrez, he was happy to let leave. Right? If he wants you, if he thinks you've still got value, he'll do everything he can to keep you. Walker, Bernardo Silva, right? He wants those two, right? Mahrez, you can go. Ferran Torres, you can go. Leroy Sané, you can go. Hang on, mate, give me a second.
Sorry.
Look, I'm trying to reinforce the point.
Yeah.
Laporte, you can go, right? This is the thing. I think at Spurs, we did it with Dele Alli. He had 3 very bad years. But people kept just going, I reckon that we could get him back. I reckon he could get back. We did it with Lamela. Oh, there's a player in there. Sanchez. People even now, after a couple of good tackles, Sanchez could come good. And I really feel that at some point you've got to be ruthless. You've got to be ruthless.
No, I agree. But look at last season. Last season says absolutely everything to me about how Guardiola just does it right. He allowed Zinchenko and Jesus go to what was their rivals last season. But he allowed them to go to a direct rival. He's gone, do you know what? Doesn't bother me. He let Raheem Sterling go to Chelsea. Like, where other clubs go, like we go, oh, we can't sell to Man United. We can't sell to Chelsea. We can't sell to Arsenal. We can't sell, because these are our direct. Man City go, do you know what? They're not good enough for my team because now I'm going to bring in this, and this. And then he goes, do you know what? I don't care if they go to Arsenal. I don't care if they go to Chelsea because I've got this plan on. I've got this plan. Like, do you see get my point? Like, he doesn't care because he goes, no, we can move forward here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it is strange, isn't it, that some of our better signings do tend to be ones that go under the radar. And what I mean by that is, I said earlier, Maddison at 40 million, it's not massive. Basuma at 25 million, not massive. Do you think, and I've got a video coming out about those two today because I am really, really looking forward to seeing those two this season. Do you think they're just missing one cog to play alongside them that makes it a wonderful trio? And what I mean by that is everyone now saying, oh, look at Man U with Casemiro if they get Amrabat and they got Bruno Fernandes. Look at Man City with Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne and whichever one of the players they want to play in there, Kovacic, Foden, Grealish, whoever. Look at Arsenal, Rice, Odegaard, Partey. Look at Chelsea, Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. For me, I think if you had one player, one component with Basuma and Maddison, I think you could start talking about we've got as good a midfield as some of those clubs. I really do. But it's that one component I think we're just slightly missing.
I think what as a club we're banking on is that missing cog is Bentancur. I think as
I'm not sure. By the way,
I agree with you, but I think as a club, I think they're sitting there going, "Do you know what? Can Bentancur be that one?" The thing's all out on him with Bentancur at the moment. The jury's still out on him. The question is will he come back and being the player that he should be? Listen, the question you got to ask is what would Bentancur improve in that midfield three? The question is he more defensive? Is he more attacking? I think he's a little bit in the middle. I think positionally he's going to be all right. I think he'll be okay positionally. The question is will he complement the likes of Basuma? Will he complement the likes of Bentancur? Again, the jury's still out. I think, though, if he does, if is a massive word there, massive 2-letter word, if he does, then you sit there and go, there you go. There's your three. Now let's go and get more quality behind the scenes. When you can improve on Oliver Skipp, you can improve on other players elsewhere, improve on a Lo Celso. Can Sarr improve his game even more potentially? Yeah, that for me is what we need to do. Listen, I'm not sitting there saying that Bentancur's the one. I don't know. The jury's still out for me on him. I think fans jumped way too quickly for Bentancur. And I think
I just want to say, I'm so sorry, Perchi. I really am sorry. But I don't get this. I'm sorry, but you boys slag off Bentancur quite a lot. I've gone on record and said I think Bentancur's a very good footballer. I don't know why I've slagged him off. Is it because I've not called him world class? Is that why? I'm not sure what this. I don't know what these listen to.
No, but it's brilliant, isn't it? Do you know what I love them? What I love the most about these is that they hear. I'm not sure if Bentancur after his injury is going to be good enough, and this guy's replied to that and gone. He walks back into our team before he was great.
I don't think anyone said he doesn't.
I said, as a club, we're hoping Bentancur is that third cog in that midfield.
Sure.
Because listen, and I think you'll agree with me on this. It benefits us as a football club. It benefits us as a football club if Bentancur is that player. Because we don't have to go and spend 30, 40, 50 million pounds to go and replace someone in that role. If he comes good, then great. I want him to. But Chasey, you've gone, Bentancur was our best player before he got injured. Sorry, the best player last season was Harold Kane, my friend. Anyone that thinks Bentancur was better than Harry Kane, even before he got injured, sorry, Harry Kane was single-handedly dragging the football club over the line for most of last season. But he's a good player.
Can I just say as well? I'll just say as well. Look, what I was someone that wanted to bring in Bentancur when we did sign him. People calling him a reject, but also, Perchi, you know me. I don't just call everyone world class. I think if people want to be world class, you've got to do it game in, game out against all the big teams as well. I like Bentancur. I think what Perchi was trying to say there, guys, is this is a serious injury.
Yeah,
this is a serious injury. You've just witnessed it with Virgil van Dijk. When you have a big injury, you might come back and you don't lose your ability.
No.
But do you lose that bit of sharpness? Now, I'm not, by the way, I'm not guaranteeing you will. I'm just saying patience is going to be needed. I like Bentancur. I just think in the interim, big up Perchi's mum. I just think in the interim, I think what we need is, I do think we need one more component in there. Yeah. Again, it's about options, but I can't keep saying it. I think Bentancur's a very stylish, very good midfielder.
Yeah.
I don't know how that equates to him being slagged off. And I think what we need to be really careful of in life, right? I think what we need to be really careful of is when people come out and lie like this, I think that we need to be really careful, not just about me, but about you, about everyone. I see a lot of people come into the comments and say things that have not been said and that aren't true. Then that opinion goes round to other channels. Go, oh, I heard you said Bentancur was. It's like, whoa. No. We've got to be honest here. Bentancur's a very good footballer. He's a typical foreign technical footballer. Good passing range, lovely on the ball, always finds spaces. For me, what I need to see for Bentancur to go to the next level, first of all, get yourself back fit. Second of all, then you've got to start showing up. Because if he comes back, the way people are going on is that he'll be the main man. I think Basuma's a better player. I think Basuma's the main man. But I don't know how that's me slagging him off. I really don't know how.
Have you noticed, Savin? You'll probably agree with me on this. Have you noticed that as a fan base, we're so like polar opposites? A player's either absolutely awful or he's absolutely world class. There's never, oh, he's a decent player, needs to improve a little bit more, but he's a good player. No one can, I've noticed, and it's not just, by the way, it's not just Spurs fans. I've noticed it with football fans collectively that you're either world class or you're absolutely awful. For me, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. Majority of football players are decent, good, decent. Yeah, but Phil, the problem is I hear the word world class used for players that have had 3 or 4 good games. Like that doesn't work for me. That's like world class, they have to be doing it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, Chasey, I think you've got a bit carried away there with calling us, saying we slagged him off. I think Bentancur, before he got injured, I think there were some games where I thought he was good. Agreed. I thought there were other games where he was anonymous. Now, I'm not blaming him solely on this because the midfield dynamic we had last year wasn't very good. Yeah. But now it's time for him to come back and show what he's made of. He's got no excuse now. He's going to be playing in. He's going to be playing in a progressive team alongside Maddison and Basuma. Now, this is where players step up to the plate. But please stop telling people that they've slagged players off when they haven't. I'm just a very hard man to please. I really am. I don't go along with this world class. Everyone is absolutely brilliant off the back of a few games. Yeah. I'll ask you this: if Bentancur was world class, which is what people were saying, why on earth would Juventus have sold him to us so cheap? And that's the question you've got to ask yourself.
Agreed.
Let's just go through a few comments. Richard Pugh says, steak and egg for breakfast, sunny day, happy man, and Savin Perchi on my screen. Great start. I tell you what, I wish I was having some steak and eggs, but instead I'm getting called a slag. Not properly getting called a slag, but you know.
Have you got your subs back yet?
No. Well, we're on. Sorry, my throat has been killing me lately. We're on this. We're on 9759. It's been really slow the last couple of days. Is what it is. I won't ask anymore. But if anyone would like to, it's there. But listen, all I'm trying to do, Percy, is try my best and give content to people that want to watch content. That's all I'm trying to do. And the hate is shocking. Simon has said Sarr will be a star this season. Let's talk about Sarr. This is an interesting one because, and I'm not disagreeing. Yeah. By the way, this is really stepped. I mean, this is a massive reach. This is a massive reach. I mean, how was he one of the best in the league? When you're saying he carried our midfield, there were so many games where we didn't have any of the ball. What did he carry? This is where, unfortunately, people go well overboard. Yeah. This is the problem. Was he anywhere near as good as Partey and Xhaka? No. Was he anywhere near as good as Rodri or De Bruyne?
Or Gundogan?
Was he anywhere near as good as Bruno Guimaraes? No. Like,
Casemiro.
Do you know what I mean?
We can list so many.
This is the problem. I think I get it. We stick up for our own players. I get it, Percy. Beat the chest, the cockerel and all that. That's great. But is there any evidence behind this, or is this feeling? Is this just feeling? Because many of the games that he played in last year, we were non-existent as a midfield. Yeah. I'm not blaming him. But if you are, Percy, if you are non-existent as a midfield, whether it be the manager's tactics or not, how can you then say that someone carried that midfield? I'm confused. I don't understand what they're saying.
But this is exactly it, though. This is my point. Last season was a great example. Everyone said to me, where's our problem at the moment? Our problem is in midfield and centre halves. We've got an issue. We're losing the ball in midfield and it's exposing our defenders more than they should be. And then on the same boat, I get told Højbjerg and Bentancur are two of the best midfielders in the Premier League. You can't have it both ways. You either sit there with one or the other. Do you know what I mean?
No, completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Again, I think we've got caught in that trap of we're saying Bentancur's a very good player, but the problem is when you start putting the hype up here, what will happen is these fans that put the hype up there,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Every game then, when he doesn't live up to that hype and I call it out, don't tell me I hate him. You're telling me he's that great.
Yeah, agreed.
This is
I
the
say
problem.
That all the time.
I know you do. I'm stealing your thing. If you guys and girls, if any football fan in the world judges a player to the level that we judge some of our players to, sure. But then expect them to be judged on that level.
Son's example with that,
they've had an injury, they're confident. No, you're telling everyone they are phenomenal. Let's see it then.
Yep. Agreed.
But what happened, Perchy, to just saying really good player, decent player? Why has it literally gone? You're dreadful or you're amazing.
Unfortunately, this is it's this era that we're in with social media where superlatives, whether it's good or bad, now become the main thing. Like, do you know what I mean? You have to be sensational with everything. This player is world class, or this player is awful. Well, no, most players are there in the middle. They're good. Most players are. You don't get to the Premier League being an awful player. Do you know what I mean? So most players are good players, is my theory. I just think everything is so sensationalist at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Chasey's come out and said tackles well and is very strong and quite fast. Is he quite fast? I'm not sure that he's.
I wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't put him.
I wouldn't put a fast character. Tackles well, is very strong, can play a through. But listen, I don't think anyone's knocking his ability. And when we're saying he's a beast, I've not seen him as a beast. He scores a lot more than Basuma when he's back. Okay, but again, are we judging? I'm not judging Basuma's game on goals. That's not his game. No. Like, I think we've got to be, we've got to be really careful here. I really like Bentancur. By the way, I hate that I have to keep caveating myself, Perchy. For
people.
When fit, he walks straight back into this 11.
Agreed.
Agreed. Basuma, Maddison. My point is, what if he doesn't get that fit that quickly? What if he doesn't come back as good? Then I think we need another player.
Not too long ago, with people with ACLs didn't come back and play. Not long ago, if you got an ACL, you were out for good. Now technology and the science behind it has got you a lot better. But that's the thing. You've got to look at how many players are getting ACLs, by the way. I mean, it's just like caveat, but look at them all. I mean, Real Madrid got 2 in the space of a couple of days, which is terrifying.
But sorry, Craig, what have I moaned about? I don't like when people say this. What I don't understand, I'll be brutally honest. People want to go to a football YouTube channel, content creators, when they actually talk, like last night on Sean's channel, we were talking about where could we improve the 11, and we were talking about the defensive deficiencies of Royale and how a different player could improve that by coming into the midfield a bit better. And everyone going, "Oh my God, it's just moaning." It's like, well, hang on. Don't you want football talk? Like, don't we want to talk about all of the things, or do people just want to hear that everything is lovely? Like, it's just madness.
Yes, I get you there. I get you.
Yeah. I will, Q7. I will. By the way, Sean, I don't just think it's our fans who use the statement world class. I have this conversation with Arsenal fans every day in my chat when they want to tell me that Bukayo Saka's world class.
Yeah.
Say, okay, based on what? What are these players? Why are we basing these players world class? You used to have to play well for years upon year at both international level, Premier League, or whatever league you're in. You have to be the difference maker. Now a player has 10 good games, 15 good games, 5 good games. Everyone goes, this player is going to be amazing. And you're like, can we slow down a little bit? Can we slow down a little bit? If we didn't learn from Dele Alli.
Great example.
Right? If we didn't learn from everyone bigging up Lucas Moura, if we haven't learned from everyone bigging up all of these players that didn't turn out to be the world-class players I was told they were going to be, the Lo Celsos, the Ndombele's, just slow down. Just let the players achieve before we hype them up so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just frustrates me. It just frustrates me so much.
Yeah.
Let's go. Strasbourg Steve, always a massive supporter. Said Purchase South. Big up, guys. Do you want to do a Premier League prediction video for this weekend sometime soon? Yes. Message
mine's
me.
out, but I'm always happy to jump in and do one. I can read you through mine already.
Yeah, that would be great. Let's do that, Steve. Yeah, apologies. Yeah. I do have a lot of time. Sorry, I don't have a lot of time, but we'll definitely try and find something. Thank you to the 2 people that just subscribed. Lee, I massively agree with Lee. This I massively agree with. People have stopped saying has the potential to be. People have stopped saying, I really like this player. Hopefully his trajectory continues. Now it's all or nothing. And I just don't I don't buy it. But listen, for me, I'm going to call it after all that talk. Basuma for me, he's our main man in that midfield. He's the one I do not want to lose to injury. Basuma. What do you make of that, Perchi?
No, I agree. I said it on my show yesterday. I said tomorrow now, 2 names have earned themselves to be on that team sheet every single week if fit. Basuma, Maddison. I don't think anyone else yet has gone, I'm nailing that position down. Right,
sure.
That position's mine, apart from Maddison and Basuma. I think all the others are subject to change. And the one thing, I'd like to get your thoughts, because I didn't actually get your thoughts on it, but on this was against Brentford. We'll sort of slightly go back to Brentford for a second.
Yeah.
I massively respected the manager for subbing off Son. And do you know why? And the reason, this is more subjective in the sense that for me, that told every single player on the pitch, if you're not playing well, I don't care who you are. If you're not playing to the level I want you, you're off. And because he could have been really safe for the manager and gone, he's my new captain. I'm not going to sub Son on whether he's had a terrible game or not. I'm going to keep him on. He at the moment is the best player. Let's just say hypothetically the best player at the team from what people want to say. I'll keep him there because it could cause a headline. It could cause a headline if I sub him off and we lose a game or whatever. For me, I think him doing that was a massive message to every single player. When if I'm having a bad game, you're off. No one has the right to play for Tottenham. I'm fine now. Well, I felt under Conte, there was a lot of players that it didn't matter how bad you were starting. The likes of Højbjerg. If he had a bad game, he was playing every week. Son, Kulusevski, all these lads seem to just play for playing for the sake of it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Listen, he looks like I've got no complaints with Postecoglou. I think that he's finding out his team. I think even if I disagree with his front 3 choice, let's be really honest, right? And England have just taken the lead. By the way, and it's my favourite player in the women's team. It's Ella Toon. Almost plays a bit like a James Maddison. Ball was pulled back. She's almost, I don't want to say sliced it, but yeah, just lovely finish into the top corner. So well done, the Lionesses. 35 minutes in, they've taken the lead against the Aussies. As we're talking about an Aussie himself and the next Australian manager. But Australia 0, England 1. I'll keep you up to date if anything else happens. But so far, we are now 60-odd minutes away from a World Cup final, showing the men how it's done at the moment. Lovely finish. Actually,
I was going to say, every level is showing the England senior team how to do it.
Oh, I mean, what a good finish.
I'm just watching it now. I'm just a little bit behind you, so...
Great finish.
Oh, it's a very good goal. It's a very good goal. Yeah.
So big up to Ella Toon, big up to the Lionesses. And let's celebrate a Lionesses goal. Smash that subscribe button, people. Let's get this to 70. Let's get this to 9770. 8 more subscribers. Please smash that subscribe button. Please like. We're only 37 likes away from 37 likes away from hitting 400 likes. Thank you very much. I'm just going to go through a few comments before we go back to the main part of the show. Lily White Insider said, do you think we give Scarlett a try? For me, Perchi, I think he needs one more loan. That's just me. I think he needs a loan and to go and prove that he can score goals regularly.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think he needs a loan, but he needs a loan where he completely is the best player on the pitch. And the thing, listen, even if it's whatever level, to be honest, even if he has to go back to League One, like I'm not even against that, like because the problem what I found I use Scarlett and Parrott kind of together. They haven't really done it at any level. And the worry is whenever I hear people going, "Oh, do we give Scarlett a chance?" I did a podcast yesterday, and they were guys saying, "I'd put Scarlett in." And I was like, "Why? What? Why?" And they go, "What annoys me?" And I had a little bit of a mini rant. It's not a big rant; it's a mini one. What annoys me is whenever I say about an opportunity, I get the Harry Kane card thrown at me. Harry Kane is the exception to the rule. When he went out on loan, didn't do it very well on loan, and then came in and worked his socks off and then got him an opportunity in the Europa League. He's the exception to the rule. Normally, young players go out on loan and they start at League 2, League 1, then they'll go on loan to the Championship, then to a lower Premier League side, and then boom. Use Danny Rose as an example. Went out on loan, then went to Villa, went to Sunderland, and then boom, he's in our team.
Yeah, Carl Walker the same.
Carl Walker. So it's Carl Walker that went to Villa. Sorry, it was Sunderland for Danny Rose. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Now, go on loan to. Well, also, the other key one for me is saying that the loan spell has to be at a club that plays a very similar setup to we do. You can't.
I agree.
You can't then go on loan to a team that will play a completely different system and then come back to us and go, "Oh no, you've got to scrap all what you've learnt there. And then you've got to play this way. You've got to go and do it that." And most teams do it, Most teams have a team that they have that plays a similar setup and works in that way.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is there's no point sending him to a team that lump the ball forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Scarlett got a great goal in pre-season. I think for me, I think the older you get, the more you see it. Oh, hello, mate, this is really uncomfortable, Stewie. All right, sit there. If you ever have a dog, you don't get a choice where you sit anymore. You sit whatever makes them comfortable. And he's very needy at the moment. Subscribe for Stewie, for Christ's sake.
Sub for Stewie, come on.
Sub for Stewie. Hashtag sub for Stewie. Can we get 8 more subscribers before the end of the show? We're going to go for another 15 minutes and then Perchie will be live. I think I've seen it. We've all seen it, Perchie. Every year, there are young players in any football club that people say, "Oh, this player's going to be a player. This player's going to be a player. How many of them go out on loan and it never works for them? And I'll give you an example, right? If you look at Spurs in the last 5-6 years, I've heard that Marcus Edwards is going to be the next big thing. Harvey White's going to be the next big thing. Dennis Sirkin's going to be the next big thing. That Alfie Devine is going to be. That Scarlett is. That Parrott is. Now people are talking about Mikey Moore and Alfie Dorrington. Realistically, if we have this conversation in 5 years' time, how many of those 7 or 8 that I've mentioned will be first-team regular footballers at Tottenham Hotspur? And that's not me knocking them. That's the reality of the situation, is that very few youth players come through and actually sustain a place and become the top-level player that fans want them to be when they're kids. Now, Mikey Moore, he's 15, 16, right? Now, Mikey Moore, whenever I've watched him in the youth team, he looks a player. Yeah. Huge difference between 15 and 16 and going through to the first team. That 2-year gap, that 2-3 year development period, this is where it counts. Not fans bigging him up. Not like we did it with Troy Parrott. Yeah. Oh, my God. Troy Parrott made his first team debut for Spurs when? Right? Now he's nowhere to be seen. He's gone out on loan how many times? Doesn't score goals anywhere he goes. I think we've just got to be careful. When it comes to the young players, mate.
No, I agree. But the thing is you can go one of 2 ways, can't you, with this? You can go one of 2 ways with it. With using Troy Parrott as an example, great example. But use Chelsea. Look at Chelsea. They have a system where if you're not going to make it into the first team, instead of letting you sit in the academy and letting you loan out until you're 24, and then we lose them for free to a championship side, for argument's sake, they go, "Do you know what? I'm going to sell you." Look how many people, Chelsea and Man City, they're the 2 examples that have Premier League quality players that they've developed but aren't good enough to get into their first team. You could sit there and list them off. Livramento's just now gone to Newcastle from Southampton. Example. You've got Guehi from Palace. Man City have just look at Lavia. He's on his way to Chelsea. See, what you're seeing, there's just a few examples, but there for me is an example on boom. What we need to do now is start developing them, but let's not, as a fan base, get emotionally attached to these academies, because we've got this thing where we want these youngsters, and I get it to a certain extent, but we're so privy to the fact that we want these youngsters to come through our academy and be amazing. We're so desperate because we've had Harry Kane. We're so desperate for the next Harry Kane. Doesn't matter what position, but come through the academy, becomes world class, and stays for us for 10 or 12 years or whatever it is. Again, Harry Kane is the exception to the rule. Very rarely does it happen.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot to be said for that. And a comment here, I try and get to as many comments as possible. Said this, Juicy Vibe, big up to you, has said, why can't Troy Parrott or Dane be exceptions? For me, Perchy, I don't know what you think. I think that they can be exceptions. Bye. They can be exceptions, but let's call it for what it is. Troy Parrott now has been at a Tottenham Hotspur under Pochettino, Jose Mourinho, Nuno, Conte, Postecoglou. There must be a reason why none of them have allowed him to be the exception. Dane Scarlett is a lot younger, so I'm not going to put him in that bracket yet. There can be exceptions to rules, but it's very rarely. I'll ask this right now in the Premier League. Let's play the game. Premier League. If we're going to talk about strikers, young strikers that are in the first team that have come through the academy at the club they're a striker for. So the obvious one, Marcus Rashford, right? Who's been a pro, for now, 5, 6, 7 years. Right? Yep. Marcus Rashford. Evan Ferguson is coming through as of last year at Brighton.
Yep.
Who else are we going with? Then, for me, the next ones you go down to are the likes of Nketiah.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue just about.
I'd be interested. Everyone in the chat, let me know. I might be missing someone glaringly obvious, but you look at it. Chelsea, none of Chelsea's forwards are from, they sold Tammy Abraham, right? Yeah. Liverpool, they've got all of their forwards are bought. Man United, Rashford, other than that, all of their forwards are bought.
Newcastle have all bought theirs.
I'm
actually genuinely working it way down here. Villa, no.
You could say Cole Palmer coming through at Man City.
Not really a striker, is he? He's more of a 10, but yeah. I know what you mean.
Do you see what I mean? And this is the thing.
But let's be frank and honest. Cole Palmer's there as a squad player. He's not. I know what you're trying. I get your point, but he's the one that will probably end up being sold by Man City for £20 million to a Crystal Palace. It wouldn't shock me if he goes to Crystal Palace when they sell Elise. Do you see what I mean? But that I get your point. He's very good. So finding Charles, I said Balogun hasn't played in the Premier League for Arsenal. Can't count that one properly. Garnacho, they bought him, doesn't count. I'm just going through your list here.
Do you see what I mean? This is to show this isn't just at Spurs. It goes to show that the exception to the rule, especially when it comes to a striker, right? If you are putting in a midfielder, right? If you play a midfield three and you're putting a youngster every now and then, and he's got 2 senior pros alongside him, you can get away with it. When, like most clubs, play one up front and you're now expecting it to be Scarlett or Parrott, I think it becomes a lot more difficult and the pressure.
Foxy's got a good shout though. Brennan Johnson was one. That's one of the examples. Yeah,
Brennan Johnson, good player who came through. Yeah, absolutely. Just going to get to a few comments here. We're going to go for another 7 or 8 minutes, and then it's half time in the England game. By the way, 7 or 8 minutes more. We'll go through. Please, guys and girls, please be kind. There's over 425 you in here. Let's at least get that to 9,770. That's 8 more subscribers honestly, it's been really, really, really disheartening. I'll be honest, it's actually been quite disheartening the last few days. Like, people just seem to stop subscribing, but it is what it is. Sue has said we are worse than most at bringing youngsters through. Steve has said, to be fair to Marcus Edwards, he's done really well in Portugal. I take him at Newcastle in a heartbeat. Proud to be a Geordie has said the pressure on a manager these days, it's very hard for youth to get a game, even if it's just a cup game. Kevin Kay said Troy Parrott wouldn't look out of place in League Two.
I'm not even against that, I agree.
I agree. Foxy said sometimes it takes longer than expected for the young prospects to shine. Look at Tony with us. Loaned out and struggled. A couple of moves later, he started baying goals for fun. Of course. Leah said we did it with Troy. I mean, we didn't all do it with Troy. I think the difference is for every Harry Kane, there's 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 young strikers over a 10-year period that don't make it. Kane really was the exception to the rule. Uncle Disraeli has said Richie needs to be given 3 or 4 games at least. I think the difficulty for me with this one, Perch, is for me, I've seen Richie play in the Premier League for 5 or 6 years. This isn't about one game. I just don't.
No, I would say though, I would agree though with this though. I think, and I say it from a manager's standpoint though. I made a point. I said the thing is with the Richarlison one is if he drops Richarlison against Man United, what you then got there is you've got a player there that is. Richarlison's one of those players. I made a point on my show yesterday. I said you need to put an arm around him. He's an arm around the shoulder sort of player that you go. You need a bit of smoke up his backside. Say, listen, you need to be the one that replaces Harry Kane. You could be the Harry Kane of this club. Bit of smoke up the backside. Say, you're the man now. Come on, show us why you're the man. We paid good money for you. You're the man now. And I think what we're going to do with what's going to happen with Richarlison, I said they will give 4 to 5 games. If he doesn't score in 5 games, then you go, do you know what? There we go. We've got to do something else. We can't go on longer than that.
But the problem is, how long do you go with that, Perchy? This is the problem. How long do you go with that?
I think it's got to be 4 to 5 games. I think you've got to give him 4 or 5 games. We can't have it. Where we say this, you can't have it both ways with this argument, because we can't go, oh well, this player's had 1 bad game. Let's just treat it as 1 game. I know we're looking at historical, but let's take it under Postecoglou. He's played one competitive game. Let's put it that way, against a team with a low block. If he goes and plays against Man United, who we got off that? Oh, you're gonna it's Man United, then it's Bournemouth away or Burnley away, then it's one of the Bournemouth again, it's Sheffield United and Liverpool I think it's the 5. I think that's the 5. If he doesn't score a goal in one of those 5 games, at least one, then you sort of go, we've got a problem here. Let's change it. We have to. We can't go on. When I say 5, it could be 3, it could be 4. I'm just use 5 as a bit of a half a round number, isn't it? But I just think at the moment, what we have to do, we can't. What you don't want to get is what Conte did to him. Is my point. I'm not saying Postecoglou because I think he's a very, very different manager. But what Conte did is Conte destroyed the guy's confidence immediately. I'm not giving excuses to Richarlison, but you knew full damn well as soon as he did what he did with Richarlison, he weren't going to play for the manager again. You can't have Postecoglou can't have a Richarlison in the team, whether we want him at the club or not. I think that's completely irrelevant. You can't have your number 9 going, do you know what? I'm not playing for you anymore. So it's like I think it's got to be a really, really fine balance with it.
Yeah. Listen, when people say no offense and then go on to say this, I don't think people understand how you promote your own channel. I mean, okay, cool. I give up. I won't ever ask for a like or a subscribe again. But
the thing is what you've got to remember,
the number of people telling me how to run my own channel is absolutely shocking.
You have to remember, this is Savva's job now. It's easy for everyone in the everyone in the chat and stuff. And listen, massive shout out to the guys, the super chats, everyone in here, by the way. Big shout out to you guys in here watching. But just remember, a little click of a button does wonders. I don't think people think it's more of a vanity thing, but it's actually not. What it is, it tells you the like button tells YouTube and the algorithm to say people want to watch this, and then it gets pushed out to more people, and then it gets pushed out to more people and more interactions.
But then, can I say, by putting in a super chat to highlight and make me read out a comment that mugs myself off, I think that's just really, really low. If I'm honest, Tigara, you're a massive supporter of the channel.
Yeah.
And then you could have messaged me that privately, but instead I have to read out your super chat because I have to. And then what you've done is
Yeah.
Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. Not thank you, I suppose. It's like, I'm coming across as desperate. Listen, I get 3 or 4 hours a day on screen, right? It may seem like I'm on for 10 hours. I'm not. I get 3 or 4 hours a day on screen. If I don't promote my own business, who's going to?
Exactly.
Perchy, this is the thing. Who's going to promote my business if I don't? So apologies if me asking every 10 minutes or so for a like or a subscribe has offended people. But listen,
bear in mind, even channels that have got 300,000-400,000 subscribers ask. Let's remember it that way. Listen, big shout out to the football terrorist.
Do you know the funny thing?
He does it every single time.
People like Rants and Bants, who's got like 90,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Lee Gunner, who's got like 90,000 subscribers. The Big Six, who get 6,000 watching them live. They won't start a show until they've got X amount of 100 likes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Let that sink in. I'd never be that guy. I try and go through every comment I can. I try and go through everyone's comment, but yet me asking for a like and a subscribe is desperate. That's really, I'll tell you what, that has wound me up. But listen, let me move.
By the way, just to say, just the 1 minute, Juice Survivor's got a great point. The reason why people like Savva and we say it is because some people just forget to do it. Like, listen, I've been on stream before when I've watched stuff and they go, oh, please, I'll have a like. Because I like everyone that I watch. Everyone that I watch, I hit the like button all the time. But sometimes you forget. It's a great point there. Like, you say it because then you notice people then start liking it. So it happens. You have to do it, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Expressions does it. Everyone does it. So if I'm desperate, everyone else is desperate. Look, at the end of the day, guys,
it's the game, isn't it?
I'll move on from that. At the end of the day, I'm trying to grow my channel. I'm trying to grow my business. I can only do that with subscribers. I can only do that with likes. And if anyone wants to keep telling me I'm desperate or wants to unsubscribe, I can't stop them. Look, for the last couple of minutes, because you are going to go live soon, let's go to Uncle Disraeli. I completely disagree with this. Chelsea's a bad example. They lose good players because they don't give players a chance. I hate to tell you, did Tammy Abraham not play plenty of games for Chelsea? Mason Mount not play over 150, 200 games for Chelsea? Does Trevor Chalobah not play in the first team? Is Conor Gallagher not in the first team? Is Lewis Hall not getting first team games last year? I'm sorry, but when you're saying young players don't get a chance to Chelsea, that is
what they've done there. They've done the reversal on the exception to the rule. De Bruyne and Salah were the exception to the rule for Chelsea, where Chelsea do it really well. Yeah, you could argue, but at the time, De Bruyne and Salah weren't for them at the time. And they went and they're the exception to the rule, of what the main rule of Chelsea being good at it.
Yeah. Listen, apologies, guys. Every now and then I do get frustrated. I think I get frustrated because loads of YouTubers say to me, stop reading out as many people comments, right?
Yeah.
Don't interact with the crowd as much. And I've always said, see, like idiots like this, I've always said I want to speak to the comments. I want to do that. But then when I do, I then get hate for it. So I will eventually move to a channel that doesn't speak to the comments, right? Like other YouTubers tell me to. So that's why I get frustrated, because I do think I try and put on as good a show as possible whilst keeping every single person in mind. So, hey, listen, Perchy, I am going to leave it there. You are going live in 3 minutes. Tell people where they can find you. What's going on?
Yeah, at the Perchy TV, back with another lunchtime stream. Very similar. We're just going to have a little bit of a chat for an hour, and then we're going to move on with the day. A few things are happening with my channel. We're doing more weekly content. Definitely with YouTubers, all different ones, more different clubs. I've got one going on with an Arsenal fan that was on yesterday. TJ Warren did that weekly show with him. Listen. And then the weekend we're back with Around the Grounds that we do for the 3 o'clock games. And if we get, and I'm going to do it now. If we get enough likes on it, I'll stay on and do the Tottenham game.
Yeah,
why not? And then we're gonna definitely do that. And then obviously we do the good morning shows at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday and Sundays. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, absolutely. Listen, Perchy's a great guy. Please subscribe to Perchy as well. I won't ask for me. I'll get told off. I'll leave it there. Go over, support Perchy, support all the Spurs YouTube channels. Let's be a community. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm back this afternoon with Charlie from Blue Boys to discuss what's going on at Chelsea, see what he makes of Spurs, see what he makes about the season ahead. And I'll have a video coming out, my 2 p.m. snippet, which comes out every day at 2 o'clock. On with Henry later on. I'm also on with Rants, and then also covering for Football's 12th Man podcast, hosting his show for him. So this is a really long day for me.
Look at the hard work Savva's doing for you guys. And listen, look at he's literally on stream 24/7. Like it doesn't matter if it's not his or someone else. He's on everyone's. Yeah, listen, you're working your backside off, mate. You should have a lot of respect for that.
Big up. Listen, appreciate that. Perchy, thanks for coming on. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your super chats. Sorry I couldn't get through to all the comments. I try my best. Be back tomorrow. See you this afternoon at 4 p.m. When I'm going to be with Charlie, Blue Spurs boy. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.